here's the bottom line. You can have the best people, but if you don't have the right processes in place that are efficient, productive, designed with the customer experience in mind, then the people are not going to be very efficient. And, it's going to cost. It's going to cost you more money and productivity. So I always tell clients, most business owners get this wrong. Most business owners go into business and they design their processes around their own agenda. Doctors are a perfect example of this. I actually hate going to the doctor's office because our hours are what? Monday through Thursday, 9 to 4, 9 to 5. Sometimes they're off at 2 on one day. And then Fridays are either closed or they're open until noon. They never really look at what does a client want to experience. My husband and I did this. We have 10 medical locations in Louisiana. We're the largest healthcare provider in the state of Louisiana. And we asked ourselves, what are the 3 things we want clients to experience? And we said, we want them to experience flexible hours so they don't always have to take off from work. We want them to experience no wait time. And what's the other one? We want them to experience a friendly staff. So guess what? We're open 3 nights a week till 7:30. We're open on Fridays all day. I'm open a half day on Saturday till 2:30.
Makes sense. Okay.
So it makes a lot of sense, but most business owners don't do that. Business owners need to get out of their own head, and they need to go to their clients and survey their clients and ask them, what are the 3 things you want to experience? McDonald's did that back in the 40s. They said, look, we're going a fast food delivery system here, and we want to design it around our client's experience. We want them to experience great tasting food that's hot, fast, 30 seconds or less. We got to get back to the basics. If we don't, every business owners want to cry about losing market share. If you're losing market share, it's because you're not catering to your clients. You're not creating a wow experience. And so
you gave a good example of what you did with your business, but what examples have you seen that really impressed you big time about what business owners did to make their business more saleable?
As far as processes go?
Yeah, as far as any of the 6 Ps, any really cool examples that incorporate one or all of them that you see in a business owner that you really admire?
Yeah. So when we're selling businesses, we'll make these little tweaks in a business, but most of the time when we take on a client to sell, the business is pretty much running all 6 Ps. When it's not, we put them into a program called Road to Exit Rich, where we can make these changes in the people and the product and the processes, things of that nature. But some cool examples, let's see, I'm thinking. Well, we have an electrical company that we're selling, the one that I mentioned earlier. One thing that I think is really unique about them is they have a customer section for some of their really big clients. And sometimes their clients comes in and picks out inventory. So they'll have a section for their larger clients that want to come in and just say, hey, I need a light bulb, I need this, I need this, I need that. They'll have a section for that particular client, where that client can come in and check things out in their inventory department. I think that's pretty unique. So,
can you say a little bit more about that? Like, what do you mean? What has this done for their customers, and what specifically they do?
They don't do it for all clients. They do it for the larger clients, but it gives their clients flexibility where they don't have to call, place the order, do this, do that. They could just walk into the warehouse, meet with the warehouse manager, pick the part that they want, that they need, check it out, and walk out that day, and they'll get billed for it later. So it creates flexibility. It helps that client be more efficient and solve problems quicker, because they don't always need an electrician to come in and put something in.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of businesses don't seem to have programs for what would be their best customers, expedited service, a higher level that no one else gets. They can pay more, but I don't see a lot of businesses offering that.
Well, Amazon has that. Amazon has Prime Delivery. It's been a mess lately, it seems, with the supply chain. But Amazon has where they offer Prime Delivery. But you're right. Most companies charge more for that service, like Walmart's doing it, Target's doing it, but they're charging more for it.
Okay. Well, continuing on the 6 Ps, what are the other ones that are remaining?
So we talked about processes, and the biggest thing in processes is when you go to sell your company, one of the biggest things that is going to come up during due diligence is your policy and procedure manuals, your SOP checklist, your employee handbooks, your non-compete contracts. And a lot of business owners don't have all of this in place. And it's not just small businesses. We're selling this, $55 million agriculture company, and they have a logistics department that doesn't really have hardly any policies and procedures. And so you really got to make sure all of that's buttoned up. You got to make sure your employee contracts are buttoned up. You better make sure that your management team has non-competes in place, because otherwise it's going to stall your deal. Buyers are not going to buy large tech businesses without all of that in place. And you're going to have to go back and put it together, or they're going to discount the purchase price and do it themselves. And then the next P is proprietary. So we've already mentioned this a little bit when we talked about valuations. Like you mentioned, 3 to 5 net income. First of all, it's really not net income in large businesses. It's net income in small clothing stores, restaurants, coffee shops, ice cream stores. That's net income. Everything else is a multiple of EBITDA, which is earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, amortization, unless it's a SaaS company. SaaS companies are always a multiple of revenues.